because of feed. And the ironic part is this is a very good brand of feed I'm talking about here. So what happened? Well, I just want to make a couple of disclaimers. One, this is not a sponsored video. I'm not affiliated with the brand I'll be talking about in any shape, form, or manner. Two, I'm simply a broiler farmer who, to a certain extent, is self-taught. I will not be speaking here as a qualified animal feed scientist or a qualified poultry farmer. Just my experience, particularly ever since I started owning my own broiler farm, albeit the fact that it's a backyard farm, but it's still a... So why would I make such a bold statement to say feed is killing my chickens? So I'm on a cycle of 200 chickens, day 28, and about 16 of them have died. That's a very high number. High number in terms of the industry standard, because normally we want to keep to 5% mortality rate. And high number in terms of my own standards in my own farm, because I never have chickens dying here. So for me, that called for a thorough investigation. To give a bit of context, in the cycle before this one, I had about 100 chickens. By day 42, when the cycle was concluded, I had 8 chickens that had died. 5 of those were runs, 3 of them had died a natural death. When I had about 15 chickens that had died by day 28, that was quite a worrying anomaly that required my attention. First, I checked the records to check the weights. And I realized if actually compared to my first cycle, the weight for the second cycle was quite low. But here's something I noticed. By day 7, my chickens were like quite feathered. And by day 14, to a certain extent, they were fully feathered. And they were also big in terms of size. So for me, I was asking myself, why are these chickens looking so big at such a young age? Generally, I would expect the two things I just mentioned to happen by day 21 or so. I thought about that very hard. I asked myself, okay, what is it I have changed from the first cycle to this second cycle? And what I've changed was feed. So in the first cycle I used, for starter at least, I used the brand called Driehoek, right? And then in the second cycle, the one I'm talking about now, where I had many chickens dying, I used Magnum Roscoe. With Driehoek, I actually never had any chickens dying. I had no chickens dying during the time I was giving them starter, which was, I gave them starter for 18 days. I had the first chicken die on day 90, and the second chicken died on day 29. So now we are here, second cycle. By day 28, I have 15 chickens that have died. You see why I'm concerned. I conclude that, well, since I changed feed, the chances are the problem might be there, although I cannot speak so conclusively. I know I didn't change suppliers, and although most of our suppliers, because I've got a black supplier, although most of them do not own themselves in a sense that they have to get most of their eggs somewhere, I was just hoping that the person was getting the eggs from the same place. So I then concluded that I'm gonna wipe out the issue of chicks and assume that the chicks are still the same. What then could be killing the chickens if I simply changed feed? I thought to myself, perhaps the feed formulation is different. Maybe the feed of Roscoe Magnum has got more nutrients or whatever. I don't know much about feed, but I was just thinking to myself, perhaps it has more things that give these chickens problems than Driehoek. Maybe Driehoek is better formulated, whatever it is, I don't know. I concluded though that it is feed, in that perhaps this feed, if I don't give my chickens enough rest period, maybe this gives me a good chance to talk about rest period. So here's how I manage my cycle. From day 1, when I received my chickens, until day 7, I don't let them sleep. They eat 24 hours, they drink 24 hours, and I don't switch off lights at all. From day 8, I switch off light for about an hour. And then from day 21, I take it to 2 hours. So I did that with the first cycle of Driehoek, and it worked perfectly. Second cycle, I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm experiencing this, huge spike of mortality. I decide to ask someone else that I met via Twitter who also raises chickens, what do you think of this hypothesis that I came up with? Because I've got chickens dying here. I'm suspecting this could be the case. He says to me, yeah, I think your reasoning, because obviously I went on this long rant. He says, I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. In fact, I don't let my chickens eat at night at all from day 14. I'm like, what? He says, yeah, from day 14 my chickens no longer use artificial lighting. The sun will rise in the morning, they'll wake up and start eating, and the sun will set, and that's it till he starts selling. So I asked him, okay, I've never had someone doing that unless they are raising chickens for parent stock. So how do you get it right in terms of the feed conversion? Have you not suffered from the feed conversion ratio? So the feed conversion ratio, or the feed conversion rate, is how much amount of feed, in simple terms, how much amount of feed does it take to produce 1 kg of meat? I'm asking him, do you not find that they eat a lot, or they don't eat enough to actually produce the amount of meat that is necessary by the time we need to start selling, which is generally from day 35 going all the way to 42. He says, nah, what I do is actually, although I don't necessarily weigh my chick every week, but by week 5 I start weighing them to look for 2.1, 2 kgs, 2.1 going up, so that I can sell them because they are ready for the market. I'm like, okay, so but then that tells me to a certain extent that the feed conversion ratio is good, so I'm gonna try it. Day 28, immediately that day, no more lights. Remember, we are on about 16 chickens that have died by that time. So I decided no more lights. When the sun sets, it sets. When the sun rises, it rises. They eat, and that's it. Ask me how many chickens died from day 28, the day I started implementing this method, and day 44 when I concluded my cycle. 0. I had 0 chickens dying. And I'm saying 0 because the 2 that died from heat stress. I don't know if you are aware, back in, I think it was beginning of October or late September. Yeah, there were 2 days where we had this heat wave. They died because of heat stress. I don't count it as a result of feed. So how did I know that the problem is feed? This is what I did at the time I started experiencing a huge spike of mortality. I made sure that every time I find a chicken that is laying down, 1, I check how it's laying. If it's facing up, now I know. Possibly heart attack, and check if it's got any injuries. So why I'm saying I check if it's got any injuries. Of the 2 chickens that died in my first cycle that I told you about, the cycle of 100, 1 of those chickens died as a result of a broken wing. So it died because of stress, it died because of pain, and it bled. Once you can check if there's no injury, which means there's not necessarily externally induced stress, then you can then go inside, which is the thing that helped me figure out it was feed that was the problem. I then opened up the chickens to perform a post-mortem. I'm embellishing here because I just cut up the chickens. Post-mortem, yes. I performed a post-mortem on the chickens, and listen, as soon as I cut up the chicken in half, yellow fluid just spills out. Now, yellow fluid tells you you've got a problem of water belly. That's what they call it. I think that's the general term for it, water belly. I think the medical term is ascites. I'm not sure. Stand to be corrected. Water belly or ascites is when you have got a chicken that is growing faster than its internal organs. So think of if you had a car that grew. Cars don't grow, but if you had a car that started as a Picanto to go to an Amarok, but now the engine is not growing, it's still a Picanto engine, but you have got a body of an Amarok. So what happens is the engine is not actually able to power up or to push the Amarok. Then the Amarok just gets stuck and dies on the side of the road. That's what happens when a chicken is suffering from ascites. So remember earlier when I told you that by day 7 they were feathered, they were in whatever? It was because of now this feed formulation of Driehoek, the starter specifically, is different to that of Magnum, because for whatever reason Magnum is loaded. Let's just put it like that. When I concluded that the problem is water belly, that was when I called my friend to ask him what he thinks of that, and he said yes, you are right. Gave me his reasons. And then I went on to go what? To go test it out. Like I said, I had 0 chickens dying. I concluded that, oh, okay, the problem is feed. So this tells me then that the rest period differs for different brands. Different brands of feed, different rest periods. Okay, maybe also it's very important to mention that I will never be able to conclusively say that it was the feed that was the problem, because I remember in the first cycle I had different conditions, second cycle different conditions. I'll never be able to like equalize those conditions that I was raising the chickens under. But for me, that was more than enough to say the problem is feed. What now I learned from this is that it is very important to connect with the people in your industry. Talk to the people in your industry. Talk to everyone about your problems. Record. Many people don't record information. Record. Because if I wasn't recording, I wasn't gonna be able to tell the difference of weight from the first cycle to the second cycle. I wasn't gonna be able to know when my first chicken died in the first cycle and when the second one died whenever. I wasn't gonna be able to pick up the trend in the spike of mortality. All of these things come from recording information, but also being very observant when you are inside the broiler house. Many people are inside the broiler house and they just think they're there to change water and replenish feed, but there's a lot more you need to do when you're inside the broiler house, and that is to observe what is going on. Is there anything that is not normal that you need to worry about? That means you also need to go further into reading about different diseases, so that once you pick up something, it doesn't become stressful because you already know the symptoms. You understand? So yeah.